Clemson going to Florida State. 3.5 points favorites. Now this game opened at 4.5. That feels just a little bit low. I promise you. Dabo Swinney is more than fine with that. He's fine with that. You hear him talk about it all the time. Poor old Clemson. He likes to play up that sort of conversation, not because he likes to play the victim, because of the way that he likes it to motivate his football team. He feels just fine playing the underdog card, being under the radar. Little stat for you. The top 15 teams in the AP poll, their combined record right now, 83-3. Guess where 2 of those 3 losses came from? Clemson, South Carolina. Tigers handed out 2 of those L's. Food for thought. They feel like they can play with anybody. This is one of their last hurdles when it comes to the ACC schedule. Still got some tough teams to play. It's not to say they're going to just be untested the rest of the way, but they feel like if they can get past this hurdle, it's going to be a dead sprint to be able to get back to that title game. So that's Clemson. For Florida State, 2 tough losses in a row now. One from Wake Forest, one from NC State. Not optimal. Doesn't feel good. Talk to people around the Florida State program. They say, we're fine. We're fine. And a lot of that comes from there is a self-awareness within that program that, yeah, we kind of gave that game away against NC State. If you're watching it towards the end of that game, Jordan Travis throws a ball that they scored on earlier in the game to Micah Pittman, and the ball goes where he didn't mean for it to go and gets intercepted. And that was sort of the ball game for Florida State. But bottom line, they could have won that game very easily, and they know that. So a win against a team like Clemson, one of the top-ranked teams in the country, that would validate a lot of the belief they already have to a degree in-house. There's the thought that, yeah, maybe we can do it. We think we're capable. We've shown it multiple times from other teams, but against Clemson, that win would be just another huge brick to lay for the foundation of their season, a huge brick to lay for their confidence. A very, very big deal for Florida State coming into this game. Really quickly, subscribe to the channel. Would love to have you along for the ride. Makes this a lot more fun having you on board. That's what does it. All right, roll party. What we're looking at in this game, we alluded to it in the introduction. For DJ Uiagalelei, it is DJ versus Wild, parentheses, environment. DJ versus this wild environment is what it feels like to me, because DJ Uiagalelei has played some pretty good football this season, silenced a lot of doubters. We have supported him pretty openly on this show. He hasn't played in an environment like he's going to play in this coming Saturday in Tallahassee. That's not to knock what he's done already. I'm just saying this is a new challenge. To the same token, 6 of the 11 starters for this Clemson offense are either a freshman or a sophomore. So you got some cats going in there that, quite frankly, this will be a new environment, a new feel, a little bit of a shock factor. So that begs the question, how does that impact them? Is that more juice and just fuel to the fire and guys play to that environment and get psyched up, ready to silence them? Or is it a little bit of a deflation? Is it something that makes you nervous? Start biting the fingernails a little bit, cause some mistakes that you wouldn't usually have if it were to be held in a library, if you catch my drift. Very, very crucial to watch as this game plays out. Because for Florida State, it has been widely documented they want to just play ping pong with whoever they have across from them. Sounds a little bit funny, but roll with me a little bit here. They just want to hit the ball back and make you make the mistake. Now, the reason we've seen them lose is they've made their own mistakes, and that's why they've ended up on the wrong side of these last 2 games. But if they can play to that environment, and DJ does make those mistakes, he reverts back to old DJ, well, then Florida State's cooking with gas. And that's just sort of the way they want to go about it. Something to watch for, though. If they do go into a quote-unquote scary environment, let's just call it what it is, when you were a kid and you got scared, what did you cling to? Your blanket, right? Big safety blanket. Well, he's got a couple of those safety blankets. Let's read this off. Davis Allen, the tight end, he's 6'6". Joseph Ngata, wide receiver, 6'3". Jake Brenningschool, Nashville product. It's a tight end, he's 6'6". Well, you've seen on multiple occasions now, when there's a big moment, when you need a big play, Clemson goes to their big boys. I tell you what, you just can't teach big. You can't. I don't care where you went to school. I don't care who your trainer is. If you're 6'6", you're 6'6", and you have the advantage over whoever is the 5'11" defensive back trying to guard you. That's the fact of the matter. Watch for Clemson to try and take advantage of that in big moments because it's paid dividends in the previous games. I mean, Davis Allen had a day against Wake Forest. Jake Brenningstool was a guy they relied on a lot against NC State. Joseph Ngata just comes up with big catch after big catch. That's going to be a matchup to watch because they continue to win those 50-50 balls. At Clemson, they feel like those are 90-10. Just the fact of the matter. Now, with that being said, if you're going to double team some of those guys, you say, we're tired of having the big 6'6" dude, just dominate over the middle. Well, Boston College said that exact same thing, tried to double some of those guys, frees up other receivers. Antonio Williams, the freshman, I think he's the missing ingredient to this offense. Adds a lot of shiftiness, a lot of speed. Talked to Matt Conley on Clemson Sports, our Clemson on 3 site. He just said, dude catches everything. Really nice to have as a receiver. Watch for him to also impact this game if they do try and take away the big boys. So we'll see if they can do that. Another hinge point for us in this game. How much is the Florida State wide receiving core allowed to impact this game? What I mean by that is you look at the edges, right? The edge for Clemson is the defensive line. Those front 7 are a bunch of freak shows. Brian Brzee back this week. Xavier Thomas had 2 sacks in 6 snaps. They don't expect him to play at the normal snap count, but they think it'll be closer to the teens as opposed to the single digits that you saw last week. So he's going to impact the game. They feel really confident about what that front 7 can do. Going to give them issues. However, look to the back end. Clemson secondary, they feel a little bit more confident. They've seen that group grow up a little bit more. They're young, they're beat up, whatever it is. They're playing a receiving core with some dogs. Johnny Wilson, all 12'6" of him. Pokey Wilson can run. Micah Pittman, tough as nails, made a one-handed grab on his helmet and just rocked the dude to sleep for a celebration. Was super, super dope. You hear what I'm saying? They're going to have their work cut out for them. So it's this sort of ongoing battle throughout the game for Jordan Travis. Do you have time to get it to those guys? Because when Brian Brzee is in your living room, it's hard to do anything. All right? That's something I want to watch. How much is he allowed to operate and get the ball to those playmakers? Because they think they can win. They think they can get the ball out to them and be able to make some plays, but if you can't get the ball out, it's all for naught. That's sort of a moot point, if you will. So for me, the question then lies for Jordan Travis, how much does his mobility impact this game? Is he able to escape pressure and buy extra time to throw? Not buy extra time to be able to scramble out of bounds, buy extra time, keep your eyes downfield, and find a Pokey Wilson. Find your own safety blanket in Johnny Wilson. That's going to be a really big deal. Because if Clemson can't capitalize there, this game could get interesting. And that could be a reason why the line is what it's at and why it's moving the way that it is. Who has the steady hand? Especially when there's mistakes. DJ Uiagalelei, we already talked about in this game. He has played well to this point. We know that old DJ exists. Now, he hasn't really shown himself too much this season. Wasn't enormously efficient last week against Boston College, but we know that he exists. Does he revert back if the crowd noise gets to him, if he throws an early pick, if there's a fumble? Does he feed off of his teammates and able to sort of steady himself? Or is that something where, hey man, one of the propellers in that plane went out and you're just spiraling on down? Something to watch for. To the same token, Jordan Travis, we saw him last week throw 2 picks. Jordan Travis, to my understanding, is a very intense human being. And for intense human beings, there is 2 things that happen when things don't go your way. There's the first thing, or I guess 2 responses rather. The first response is Mamba mentality. No flinch, doesn't matter, next play, I'm unfazable. That kind of intensity. The other reaction is so intense that you get bunched. Start talking to yourself, why'd I make that throw? Golly, I can't throw 2 picks, just lost us the game. How much does that internal battle happen for Jordan Travis, and which reaction does he go to? I think the quarterbacks and their psyche will be a really, really big factor in this game, because in games like this, you got 2 heated competitors, 2 programs that feel like they have a shot to do more than just win this game. There's going to be some momentum swings both ways. I don't think either team's set for a cakewalk. Now, the crucial variable for me in this whole who has a steady hand thing, like I talked about, teammates picking each other up. For Will Shipley, he may be the X factor in this game for Clemson, because Florida State giving up a smooth 170 yards on the ground. Folks, I'm not great with numbers. Math was never my strong suit. That ain't good. That's not good. For DJ, if he does throw an early pick, to be able to say, all right, Will Shipley, carry the load, my guy, could be a very big luxury to have for Clemson. They want to throw the ball. They want to be able to let DJ cook a little bit, but if Will Shipley's eating, I promise you, they're going to keep putting more and more on his plate. Our prediction for this game is as follows. We already talked about it. Dabo loves where this team is at. He loves the external things being said about this team. He loves the fact that they're sort of on the edge of the playoff conversation, and everyone's talking about Ohio State and Bama and Tennessee and all those teams. He's cool with just being on the Roy bus. At week 7, oh, he loves it. He absolutely loves it. And I think he has his team's mental focus exactly where he wants it to be. I think DJ has the confidence right now to be able to play well in this game, and they have the things around him that are sort of coming together, and they get their D-line back healthy. For that reason, I think you see a signature kind of Clemson game from that front 7. I think Clemson ends up winning this game in a dogfight kind of fashion, 27-17. Clemson gets a big dub in Tallahassee. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.